we can just make our way all the way down, nice and comfortably onto our backs. And as we're settling into the earth, let your breath begin to flow. I like to take really deep inhales, so breathing into the belly and then filling up the rib cage. But then my exhales are relaxed. There's no force at all. We just let it go. So a little bit of effort to take in a ton of oxygen for that inhale. Exhale is just relaxing and releasing. So enjoy a few more rounds. This is helping to oxygenate our body, helping to prepare it for all the beautiful poses and the opening positions yet to come in our class. And just allow that breath to continue to flow. Deep inhale, relaxed exhale. And as we're continuing with this flow of oxygen into our body, we start to connect with the idea of our class today, which is building a strong foundation. If you imagine some of the people that might build their house close to an arroyo in New Mexico, if there were to be a tremendous rainstorm, if the foundation's not that solid, if there's not, effort to make it really grounded where it's at, you get a good rainstorm and you could easily lose the house into the arroyo. The idea today is creating a strong, solid, sturdy foundation that makes it so it's able to withstand any sort of storm that might come. So buildings that are wanting to withstand earthquakes, for instance, they shove metal clear deep, really far into the earth. And they do other efforts like that to really help set up a strong foundation. So that's the idea as we're working through our class today, is to build a strong foundation by our gentle restorative poses. It's funny, in releasing, there's that ability to actually set your back up. So the foundation that we're working on more than anything else today is our spine, and especially the low back, making that strong, sturdy foundation. Because if our back is aching, it kind of takes us out of everything that we do. It's really an important part of who we are. So really building that foundation of our spine from the bottom of the spine all the way on up. So with that, I get to lead us into our class. Let's begin with our knees gently coming into the chest. And as we rock our knees in little circles, we feel the sacrum gently massaged, gently rocked into a beautiful flat alignment. Sometimes that sacrum has the tendency to turn in or out. It can tilt left or right. And so this makes it so that we have problems with the nerve clear down at the base of our spine. But as we're rocking here for a moment, just imagine you're starting to set up some of those pipes clear down, that metal clear down into the earth. And that's our sacrum. It's gently massaged. It's feeling very sturdy. And from that deep start, let's take our first twist. Both knees heading their way over to the left. The arms open out to each side. Let the gaze really be over the right fingers, maybe even pulling the right wrist over to that right side just a little bit longer. Start to feel how the low back especially responds to this. You're not in any need to force anything. You don't need to put pressure or force the knees to have to touch the ground. That's not where we're at. Rather, we're slowly, gradually allowing the muscles to stretch themselves out just by setting them up in beautiful postures. So as we're here, feel the rocking of our breath, helping to loosen those muscles at the back, as well as hips and shoulders. It's almost like we're trying to now set the ground up flat. So this can require quite a bit of leveling, moving dirt around. That's what our slow, gentle breaths are like. It's just that gradual process to set up at least the dirt how it needs to be set up. Sometimes as I let my gaze go all the way over to the right side, my neck gets a beautiful chance to stretch out very nicely. So perhaps just let yourself enjoy that. And take one more huge breath in. A nice relaxed exhale to bring the legs up and let them fall all the way over to the second side. Once again, we're not forcing anything to happen. It's a slow, gradual easing into it. If you try to force a mountain down, say with dynamite, you end up setting up a lot of structural damage. You could cause some sort of a collapse that could cause a lot more injury than if you had just patiently gone shovelful or tractorful one at a time. So we're working with this patience aspect. Lots of time to help these muscles. Lots of breath to feed our energy, feeding our body that prana, the life force. Checking in with other aspects of the body as well. How are the hips and how are the shoulders doing? Imagine each exhale that you take is helping the body release just slightly deeper than it was a moment prior. And rest your body here for 3 more good cycles of breath. As your 3rd breath completes, return the hips to the ground, hands on each knee. Take another moment or 2 to rock around on that sacrum again, checking in with it now. Maybe one more good inhale and exhale. And we'll start working into some of the legs and hip stuff, helping loosen up that to continue to build that strong foundation, our roots. So just set your left foot on the ground for a moment and start to allow your right leg to stretch up to the sky. Hands can gently be clasping behind the thigh or maybe walking it up a little bit higher. And as you tune into this leg, ask it what would be the highest kindest thing that you can do for it right now. Whether that be ankle rolls, loosening up foot and ankle tightness, or whether that be patiently working on the hamstring, just inviting it inward as it continues to release into this gentle posture. So take your time, let your breath flow deep and full. Three more breaths to be here, so if the body wants any sort of adjustment for those last 3 breaths, go ahead and take it. And after that 3rd breath, take the right ankle up onto the left thigh. The right knee gets to open. Sometimes just keeping the legs on the ground and gently encouraging the right knee to be pressed open is all we need to do. Some days I'll thread my arms around the left thigh or the left shin. So whatever sets your right hip up in a good opening position, take that variation. And check in with this foundational pose. How is the body relaxing into this shape? Are there any sort of things that you're discovering about the land here? Sometimes people get to a certain stage of preparing the foundation and they realize the foundation is not able to hold weight. So they have to completely shift their plans, moving to a totally new location. So imagine in your hip, if, say, moving forward, were to ever not be as useful as just staying still or backing up. Give yourself that freedom that you can adjust the poses as needed to be in the highest benefit for your body. So that way we don't set ourselves up for some sort of a land collapse. Instead, we're solid with our foundation. We're sure and we're steady. Two more deep belly breaths here. The exhale simply relaxes. When you finish that second one, release the hands. This will allow the right thigh to cross more tightly over the left thigh. When you get that placement, we start to take the thighs in toward the torso. Sometimes this means I grab onto my knees, if that's all I can reach. Sometimes I can grab down all the way down to my ankles, each hand grabbing the ankle that flings off to that side. So whatever you can grab onto, continue to gently pull inward with your hands, setting up the hips in an even deeper variation than what we just did a moment ago. Send breath to any tight areas that are starting to arise for you. Work with lots of love, lots of patience. Deep breath in. And with our gentle exhale, release your hands and allow both knees in this crossed arrangement to continue to fall even deeper over to the left side. Arms can spread back open. Maybe gaze goes over the right hand. And in this pose, I'm imagining that I'm starting to set up the framework for my foundation. I imagine that perhaps in a very strong foundation, there needs to be some metal going across it. So maybe you're starting to set up some of those metal beams all the way across that the cement will fill around. So if that's the kind of foundation you're imagining as well, begin to imagine that the cross of the legs is like that cross frame work getting set up. And take another beautiful inhale. A nice relaxing exhale. And with that, the hips begin to return back to the ground. Set the right foot all the way to the earth. And we'll start with the second side. Left leg getting its chance to stretch upward into the sky. Hands grab on. What does this side need? We've got those last 3 breaths, so if there's any adjustments you'd like to take for those 3, feel free to adjust. As your third completes, we've got left ankle coming onto right thigh. Perhaps just pressing the left open or perhaps clasping around the right side. Being absolutely present with this moment. Notice the structure of this side. How is this one doing? Is there anything we can do to help this experience? Two more breaths, body releasing even deeper. And then we start to cross the left thigh more tightly over. We can grab onto knees or slide down to ankles, whatever will be helpful here. Setting it up slightly deeper than before. Another good inhale. And with the exhale, we drop our hands, opening them up to each side. The knees start to fall over to the right this time. Notice how this twist is different than the first ones we did, the very first poses of this class. Our body's already forming itself into new, strong patterns. Breath is still flowing for us all the way into the belly. So take one more good inhale. And with our exhale, gently return the hips to the ground. When the feet uncross, let them do a few nice windshield wipers, helping us connect with any last things that need to loosen up in the legs before we come up to a seated position. So perhaps once more to each side, whatever speed you're traveling at. And eventually, when the hips and the back feel like they're ready to work our way up to sit, let's press our way all the way up. At first, we'll start off in a cobbler's pose, so feet can be close together. Feel how especially the low back releases as our spine travels up and over. Perhaps the head is in stillness. Sometimes it's nice to rock the head left and right, helping to loosen up any tension there. then when we lift the spine back up, let's slide our feet a bit further forward. Place one hand on each knee, and then we melt our spine back forward. Only this time, we start to work on straightening one arm. For instance, when I straighten the right arm, I feel the right part of my low back really elongating. I bend the right arm, go back through the center, and I allow the left arm to do the same thing. Left arm straightens. The left part of my low back is really elongating. So at your own pace, gently ease that low back, left and right, into this nice stretch. So finish up this last set that you're doing. And then bring the spine back to center to gently roll it up. Once we're there, allow your right foot to plant. Left leg extends long. The left hand grabs the right knee, or maybe we use the elbow instead, and we set up in a nice spinal twist. Rather than taking a spinal twist from a core foundation, lift your spine up tall with an inhale, and then use the nice exhale to just simply release, however deep the twist wants to go. We never force twists to happen because that could not help the discs. That space right in between the vertebrae, it could push them out of alignment. Instead, we're easing our way with the breath. Inhales, we simply elongate. Exhales, find that space that wants to be filled in the release. Start to return your body back forward. When we're there, the right thigh falls open. Let the hands be on the floor and just walk them forward. Stretching over that straight left leg. From here, what we're going to do is take both hands to the outside of this left leg, and then just continue walking the hands to the left as far as the low back is still happy with stretching. We do not want to go so far that we have to lift the hips up, but just continue walking the hands over to that left side. You can have the choice here of straight arms or bending your elbows. Slide the elbows in to touch the outer part of that left hip and knee. It's almost like a side crow, just a much more restorative version. So your personal preference, if you liked the straight arms better, that's fine, no pressure. But feel that low back really elongating in a whole new angle. And then take lots of time, lots of care as we unwind from that. Once we go forward, continue walking the hands over to the right side. This will be a gentle counter stretch for that. The low back will feel a nice release. Good. Walking our way up to sit. Let's switch our legs out. Right gets to go long, left foot plants. The knee is upright at first. Whenever you get there, the right hand or the right elbow sends you into a nice twist. So use that breath again. Inhales, I'm finding height. Exhales, I feel any void behind me that wants to be filled. One more inhale. Exhale, return forward. Let this thigh fall open. Start to release your weight forward. We can start walking our hands past the leg on the right side. Remember, we're not lifting hips up. We're only going as far as the low back is happy with. Straight arms or slide the elbows in to touch the outer part of the thigh. Take your time releasing forward, and then continue to walk hands to the left side just a little bit for a nice little counter stretch for the back. And as we start to rise up, we'll work our way to a kneeling place. A couple of nice cat-cows. We're in no rush for the cat-cow. Our low back has been stretched really long, so take your dear sweet time. Up and down. Just a couple of breaths here. One more cycle to each direction. As that one finishes, let's lower all the way down onto our belly. Our arms are going to be set up such that they're parallel to the top of the mat. Our right arm is in front of the left arm. And then from this placement, start to walk each hand off that edge of the mat. So the right arm is going left and the left arm is going right. Continue to walk it into the position until you feel a nice shoulder release going on. So this could mean we have to do some little adjustments. Sometimes I need to bump my elbows up just slightly higher to feel the shoulder stretch. Sometimes I need to relax my shoulders away from ears. When you find your shoulders opening, make sure that your ability to breathe is still there. So maybe just rest your chin onto the arm or find another easy place that allows you to breathe freely. And we'll allow this part of the shoulders to open nicely. The added benefit of this pose is that our low back gets some traction and even a slight back bend compared to what we were just doing. So it's nice and restorative, very releasing for that low back. Let's take one more huge breath through this cross. After the exhale, gently ease your elbows back in. Switch it out, left arm is in front. Then walk it back into this position. You may notice one of the two sides might be significantly tighter than the other. It may have to do with your dominance. So just play with it. Make sure this side's set up in a way that you do feel the stretch. You can breathe easily. Let's release into that shape. One more huge breath in. A relaxing exhale. And then ease your elbows back in. When you come out of that shape, we're going to press back into child's pose. Make your knees just a little bit wider than normal for this one. Allow the arms to stretch all the way forward, resting forehead down. Here, start to walk both arms off the left edge of the mat. However far you can reach is nice. Once again, you can keep the arms long, or you can slide the elbows in to the outer part of that left thigh, if that's working for your body. Slide the arms back out if they came in. Walk through the center. All the way up to the right side. And again, your personal choice. Straight arms or elbows sliding into the outer part of that leg. And releasing forward. 2 more breaths when you get through the center, reminding the spine of this straight, tall, long alignment. And as we start to walk in, our next shape has 2 options, depending on whether pigeon pose is a restorative pose for your body or not. So if you like the easier variation, a gentler version of pigeon is just to have the right leg in front of you and the left foot tucked behind. If the full pigeon is okay and restorative for your body, it'll be the right leg forward, the left leg long stretched behind. Feel free to drop into elbows when you get there. Either variation. Purposely rocking onto your right hip. What we're going to do from here is allow the right leg to straighten off to that left side, and the left leg is long at the back of the mat. So it's setting its way up, kind of like a 90-degree angle. The right hip is the one that's touching the ground and extending off to that left side. The other one trying to stay long. The idea here is to set our spine up in another little low back twist. So twist through your spine forward, and then whenever the twist feels good, gently lower onto one or maybe both elbows. Depending on flexibility too, this right leg can lift up higher. It's a personal preference. Good. As we come back up onto hands, the legs are already starting to open up wide, so just continue to rock the hips open, and then just walk your hands forward from your triangle shape. So just slide the hands directly forward. Just feel that nice release through the right hip. And then rising up, we'll face forward to switch our legs out. It's either left leg in front of us, right knee tucked back, or left leg in front of us, pigeon pose. So either way, lean forward, feel your hips releasing. Rocking onto left hip. We leave the right leg shooting back behind us. This left leg straightens off to the right side. It can be 90 degrees, it can be lower, it can be higher, whatever angle is possible for your body. Let your spine twist, and then maybe one or both elbows can drop down. The added benefit of this pose is it doesn't only stretch our low back, but depending on your body, it could also be a deep massage for the IT band right now. Letting our whole body weight rock onto that like a roller. Helping to open and ease it out. Good. So rising up, walk your way through the open legs, and once again slide the hands forward. Walk our hands back in for one last little stretch here. With our legs staying wide, bring your right hand to the inner part of the right leg. You could slip down to the right elbow if you've got that mobility. Either way, whatever is connecting against the right leg, push into the right leg. That'll help the left shoulder peel back, and the left arm gets a chance to stretch nice and long up and over. What this does is it takes some of those really tight low back muscles and it pulls them as long as they can possibly go. This is especially nice if you have a job where you have to sit down a lot, either because you're in the car for long periods of time or if you're sitting at a computer. This is one of those stretches I would take for your low back every single day just to help it out. So one more breath on this side. And nice and slowly rise up so we can switch directions. Left hand close to left leg, maybe slide further down. The connection, we push the arm into the leg, the right shoulder gets pulled back, and then right arm is able to reach. Up and over. Feel that low back. Receiving one last stretch here. One more beautiful inhale. And then exhale, we start to rise up. Listen to your body. Some of us might be ready to go into Shavasana immediately. Some of us might need another pose or two, just a little recovery, whatever our favorite things are as we start to head back. So don't feel like you're in any rush. Take your time if your body still needs additional stretches, recovery things, movements. Only find your Shavasana, that wonderful release when your body feels ready. Some of us may get there sooner, some of us later. And so I'll start to connect us with the idea for our Shavasana right here. The idea is, imagine as we work through all those spine, even up to the shoulder movements, lots of stretching. Imagine that was us pouring the cement in toward the frame. And so now, as we're in this beautiful Shavasana, our breath smooths the cement out. So let your inhale be a smooth swipe left, and your exhale a smooth swipe right. Just smoothing that cement into the perfect, flat foundation. Deep inhales. Long, smooth exhales. Taking 3 more breaths in this Shavasana. Imagine these last 3 breaths are the final 3 swipes to finish smoothing that foundation. Whenever that 3rd breath completes, start to introduce wiggles to your fingers and your toes. ankles and wrists. Starting to stretch out like we're waking up first thing in the morning. Eventually taking a nice fetal position to one side. Enjoying a few breaths there until you're ready to come up to a comfortable seated place. No rush in the world. As our hands join together in front of the heart, in your mind's eye, see that beautiful, perfect foundation that you've just laid, representing especially your spine as you're traveling forward. But realize this foundation is still wet right now. And so we have to have extra care over the next day, the rest of this evening, the next several days, so that this foundation can really get itself set, so that our next week can be full of success, especially in our spine. So that means the rest of today, drink lots of water. Any foods we eat are very full of health. The choices we make, even the thoughts and the energy we allow to pass through our body, is that which will help this foundation stay strong and steady. And so with this healthy, strong foundation continuing to be set by our choices, with this foundation to lead us onward and toward a marvelous week free of back pain, let's wrap up this wonderful time we got to share together with the sound of Om. Deep inhale now. May we be filled with light and happiness and peace. Namaste.